swear by Mr. Delali.
I, Delali Kwasi Brempong,
do hereby swear by the Bible
do hereby swear by the Bible
that the evidence I shall give before the Commission of Inquiry
that the evidence I shall give before the Commission of Inquiry
shall be the truth,
the whole
truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Please be reminded that by the oath you have taken, you have made a promise to speak the truth, and failure to do so constitutes an offense for which you be liable to punishment.
So you can sit next to him.
Announce himself.
If it pleases the Commission, Dr. Dominic Akuritinga Ayine, appearing for Mr. Brempong, Delali Brempong. With me are Godwin Tamaklo and Francis Xavier Sosu.
As a commissioner, counsel indicated to me earlier that he wants to make an opening remark.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. I refer to Rule 12 of CI 65, that is the Commission of Inquiry Practice and Procedure Rules. And I want to indicate to the Commission our desire to reserve the right to cross-examine prior witnesses and then to do re-examination where possible of the witnesses that we represent, of the witness that we are representing today. In terms, Rule 12 of CI 65, heading is Procedure for Examining Witness. The lawyer for the commission is responsible for, and C, the re-examination of the witness after the cross-examination of the witness by any other lawyer appearing before the commission. And then sub-rule 2 says a lawyer or an expert witness appearing for a person whose conduct is the subject of the inquiry, and any other lawyer appearing before the commission may cross-examine a witness after the cross-examination of the witness by the lawyer for the commission, having regard to Article 282 of the Constitution. So, Mr. Chairman, based upon this provision and pursuant to Article 282 of the Constitution, as counsel wanted to reserve the right to re-examine our own witness after he has given his evidence and been cross-examined by counsel for the commission, and then subsequently to call any other witness who has given evidence before the commission that touches upon and concerns our client, so that we can cross-examine that witness.
Requesting the commission to allow you to re-examine your witness after he has been examined by the lawyer for the commission, right? Is that what your submission is?
After he has been cross-examined by him.
And you are basing that on rule number 12(1)(c)?
That is so, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, if you read rule number 12(1)(c), it refers to the re-examination of the witness after the cross-examination of the witness by any other lawyer appearing before the commission. The any other lawyer does not refer to the lawyer for the commission.
That is so, Mr. Chairman.
And we don't have any other lawyer appearing before this commission.
Mr. Chairman, in exercise of our client's right to counsel, effective representation includes the right for him to confront any person who has given evidence before this commission that touches and concerns his evidence or that in any manner contradicts what he has said. And so it is our view, and subject to the discretion and ruling of this commission, that includes the right to re-examine him after he has been cross-examined. And the duties of the counsel for the commission includes cross-examination. So though he's leading the witness in evidence, it is also possible for him to ask, for instance, leading questions, which we are not allowed to ask because we are representing the client.
Mr. Ayeni, we would reserve our ruling on your submission. Proceed with the examination of your client.
Very well, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome, sir.
Thanks.
Could you, for the purposes of the record, state your full name to the commission?
Mr. Chairman, my name is Delali Kwasi Brempong.
Mr. Delali, do you confirm that you were the NDC's parliamentary candidate for the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency by-election?
Mr. Chairman, yes, I do.
Now, is it right to assume that you live within the constituency?
Oh, I do. I do live in the constituency.
Very well. Where specifically?
Number 5, Freetown Close, which is behind Violation JHS.
Is it the same Violation JHS that was used as a polling station?
Yes, please.
So then, if I'm right, you are referring to the La Bawuleshi Presby JHS, am I right?
Yes, please. Near the church.
How far is the church from the school?
40 meters, 50 meters, max.
And how far is your house from the school?
Oh, probably 50, 60 meters. They're quite close. Quite close.
So then, is it possible that when one is standing at the point used as polling station, he can see your house?
No, I think because of obstruction. But if you get onto the field to the end that is near my house, of course you can see my house. Because it's less than 100 meters. It's quite a short distance.
Very well. On the morning of the 31st January 2019, thank you for correcting me. I think I'm still living in the past. Where were you?
I was home, but I left just about 7 o'clock in the morning to visit a few police stations to convince myself that my polling agents were at post and so on.
Yes, you can go.
Please, I can go.
Yes.
So after about an hour, my son called me that to know where I was, that there were visitors trooping in fact, even some parliamentarians who wanted to speak to me or to see me. So I told him I was almost close to the Meteo police stations at Ipasan. So from there, I'll come home. After about 15, 20 minutes, he called me again. Daddy, where are you? And I said, I was just about leaving Meteo towards the house. He said, I should not come to the house because there was trouble. I said, which trouble? He said, he heard some shooting when he was in the bathroom. And there was a lot of noise around the house. So he was like, just, I should not come back home. In fact, I found it a bit childish on his part. Because if there was trouble, turmoil in my house on that particular day, the house which was the focal point of activity for NDC, it behoves of me to rush there quickly to find out what the matter was. So I picked myself up and then drove, but cautiously towards the house. When I was near, there's this block factory before my house, I realized there were lots of cars parked, and I could see a lot of people, and also a few policemen from where I was coming in. I also noticed thanks, Chairman. I also noticed to the left where we have this street that joins Violation with the Trinity College, the junction where there is a supermarket. I saw this big blue police car, which looks like a firefighter. I think they normally use it in rioting or something. I also noticed that this thing. So when my nephew and a few of my supporters noticed my car, they came towards the car. So I called down and I asked what had happened. They said I should come and see. So I walked a distance of about 10, 20 meters, and there were pools of blood. Then I turned right. And there was this red container there. I saw 2 bullet marks. Then they said, that was not all, I should come and see. To the left of my gate, that is if you are entering my gate, to the left of it, there were some trees. And I think on 3 or 4 of the trees in front, there were 8 marks. 8 marks, bullet marks. And there is this house exactly opposite mine. In fact, the gates are about opposite each other. There was also a bullet mark on one of the pillars of that gate. In fact, I was shocked because I did not want to believe that the blood I saw and all those things could be human blood. I didn't want to believe it initially. I was in a state of shock. So I think about it, become a bit emotional. Eh? So I entered the house and climbed up. There are actually 2 buildings on the plot. The one to the left had this staircase, which I climbed so that I could see the people who were outside. So I shouted. I was Delali Kwasi Brempong, the owner of the house. Here I was. Whoever wanted to be should come for me. Apparently, everyone was looking with me very calmly, and I didn't know what I was doing. So I descended and went to the bigger house where I have my office. There, I was followed by Chief Secretary, the gentleman who just left here with his people. I think there were 4 officers and about 3 armed policemen. They followed me upstairs to my office. Then I again asked them, here I was. Whatever crime I've committed, I submit myself to the police to arrest me. But Chief Superintendent Kwasi said I should come down. After a while, in fact, they were mute. I thought something really had happened in my house, and the police were there actually to verify. And now that I was present, I thought, they could proceed, but they were very calm. And after that, after a short interaction with them, they said they were going to leave some policemen in their house to actually offer protection. They did leave 9 armed policemen in the house. Shortly, I heard, yes. So I asked, after they had withdrawn, a few people climbed up. So I asked, were some people hurt? They said, yes. Where are they? They said they were sent to the University of Ghana Hospital, Legon Hospital, as we sometimes call it. So, and that's, some other people were also arrested and sent to East Legon Police Station. At about 10 thereabouts, then the national organizer, retired Captain Joshua Kamba came. And he drew my attention that some of the victims were in hospital, so we should go and visit them. Oh, please, I've jumped to this. Before then, the national chairman actually called. That was around just after 9 o'clock, and asked where I was. And I said I was home. And then in about 10 minutes, he came. Actually, when he came, I was in the bathroom, so he had to wait for a while. Then I came back to the office. So as soon as I was meeting him, Honorable Tokobi Kochi also came. So we had a short meeting, probably 3-4 minutes, to discuss what had happened and what was the way forward. We came to the consensus that we couldn't predict what else could happen. So it was better for us to pull out of the elections and to give the police the opportunity to actually find out what had happened and what would happen again. So about 9:20, 9:25, the national chairman held a short press conference on the steps in front of my corridor downstairs, that NDC was pulling out of the elections and that all our polling agents should leave the polling stations and report for a meeting. So after that, a lot of people were trooping to the house. A lot, as if, I think the information was all over. Then Captain Akamba, that's the night, mentioned that some people were in hospital and they might need assistance. So in the company of 3 of the police who were left in my house, we went to Legon Hospital. When we got there, we saw 7 wounded victims. 7 wounded victims. So we asked of the doctor in charge, and we left some money and our contact numbers, that in case they were distressed, they could always get back to us. A lot of people were actually trying to come in, and we realized that that was going to be a nuisance to the treatment room. So we wanted to go out, we wanted to leave. When we were about leaving the entrance of the hospital, then we saw 8 other people coming in. Apparently, those were the people who were arrested and sent to East Legon Police Station. They were being led by one Mr. Agbesi Nuchu. who actually went to the police station in the company of some parliamentarians. I recall very well Honorable Police Dawida, Honorable Chinapo, and a few others who actually went to the East Legon police station to actually see them. So we had to go back in to tell the doctors that, yes, these are also victims from the happenings around my house. Mr. Agbesi had some money, so he left that money also. So the treatment continued. Then we had to leave. There we were informed that one person was seriously injured and was referred to 37 Delali Hospital. Yes. So eventually we got back home, and a lot of people kept coming in. So I had the opportunity now to ask eyewitnesses what exactly happened in front of the house. I was told that perhaps about 2 dozens of men dressed in brown khaki trousers and black t-shirts came into the house, apparently from the direction of the church. You know, you have the church, then you have the school. So from the direction of the church. And then when they were coming, some of them were firing down as if to scare people. And then when they came, I think from what my one guy called Mr. Natenge, one of the boys who works in my house, said he was moving a car out. He was stopped. And that he should open the boot. They wanted to check what was in the boot. And he said he was wearing, he is one of these neighborhood watchdog under the police. He was wearing, I think, their t-shirt or something. So they asked him, you're one of them. So in fact, he was scared, so he ran away. So what happened was that when he ran away, I think the people proceeded to the gate. There were a lot of people in front of the gate. Actually, I agreed with some journalists. A lot of journalists wanted to know when I was going to vote. And I said I would go around 9 o'clock. So there were some journalists, there were some supporters, and there were also some NDC observers that morning who were coming to my house to take their tax. Some of them did not get their tax the evening before. I recall, this is the case of the still okay, sorry. Okay. Before the Wednesday evening, 2 observers, for example, retired Colonel Assam and retired Colonel Topa, came to collect their tax, but they were not ready. So I knew in the morning some will be directed to meet the officers in charge at my place. In any case, my house, I was a parliamentary candidate, and my house was the focal point of activity that morning. According to the eyewitnesses, when they came, they said everybody should lie down. Everybody should lie down. I think probably there's a military kind of thing to either overcome people for any activity. But I think from the narration, there was resistance from some of the people. The armed men, some of them were masked, so I was told. They were masked. In the brown khaki trousers, in the black t-shirts, some with masks. were trying to enter the house, but they were resisted. Let me also put this on record that there are workers in the house. There are two companies that operate from that house. My son has an internet service business. Yes. So the first building, under there are two offices where they work from. And then I have my personal office also at the top. So there was some resistance. According to the eyewitnesses, I wasn't there. I am recording what I'm telling the commission what I have heard. When the people apparently failed or saw that they could not enter the house, then they started retrieving towards the left. I'm now facing my gate, towards the left side, to the school behind the church. I heard as they were moving away, the people around started hooting at them. I heard they started hooting at them. And then they in turn started firing from the left side across my gate to the right towards Violation Town. And I want to put on record that from the left side of my house, that is if you are facing my gate, to the right, there was evidence of 15 gunshots. Eight of the shots landed on trees opposite my gate. And please, I would be very grateful if the commission can send the police to actually capture this information and bring it to the commission. The wounds on the trees are still, fresh.
Yes,
Okay, the marks on the tree are still there. And then next was a mark on the gate pillar of the house opposite me. That makes it 9. Two marks, these are not were on a red container just after my gate also. That makes it 11 plus 2. That's 11. 11. And then 4 cars which were parked in the direction towards Violation, that is the right of the gate, when entering, also had bullets through them. So bullets through 4 cars from the same direction. That is from the left, that's facing my gate, from the left to the right. The cars were parked to the right in the open and there's some trees there. 4 were hit with bullets. So what I visibly saw from the narrations and also what was available for me to see that morning were 15 either misdirected or stray bullets shot from the school side across my gate to hit various structures. I want to put it on record also that my house is not a warehouse. indeed and truthfully, I have this garage in which my son does pack caustic soda occasionally if they are going to blend them. But my house is not a warehouse. It's a 7-bedroom house with private working offices. I have received calls from friends, especially my seniors in school, that Delali, they said you had a cache of arms, firearms in your house. So some people came wanting to retrieve the arms. Please put it on record that in my life, I have never lawfully or unlawfully acquired any firearms. And I also want it on record before the commission that I'm a pharmacist by profession. And I would have no business at all acquiring firearms because there is no use for firearms in the practice of pharmacy. And I'm also under oath to protect human lives because my job as a pharmacist is to find remedies for people who are unwell. It's also said that some people came into my house with arms. I have no evidence at all before I left my house, after I have returned, and with all the accounts and the people I knew coming to my house, bringing any arms at all into my house. So till today, I am yet to know why men in brown trousers, black t-shirts, some covering their faces, should come to the house of a civil pharmacist, an unarmed professional, to wound innocent supporters who have actually come to support me in a by-election. So please, for the purposes of the commission, this is my short observation of what I have seen, of what I have heard, of what accusations have been leveled against an innocuous pharmacist. And I want to end by saying that till now, I cannot explain the armed violence in front of my eyes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Delali.
Mr. Chairman.
If I heard you right, as at the time of whatever incident that might have happened in your house, you were not present. Am I right?
Yes.
And for that matter, whatever evidence you give to the commission as far as any incident is concerned is what you have been told. Am I right?
And what I have seen, not only told.
Very well.
Mr. Chairman, I have told you, for instance, I have personally made fresh blood pools. I have also seen evidence of 15 marks of bullet in front of my house.
Very well.
So I agree with you. At the point, I wasn't there, but I have seen and I have heard and I have also verified. For instance, people who were wounded, I have seen them.
Very well. Let's stay at the scene
Yes.
for now. Now, you have told the commission what, according to you, some eyewitness told you. Am I right?
Eyewitnesses.
Witnesses. How many are they?
Oh, many. Many. Many eyewitnesses. Because with such a happening, you would agree with me that I would want to listen to as many people who were waiting for me as at the time I came. Many eyewitnesses. If the commission will give the opportunity, some will also come and testify.
Is it possible to supply the commission with a list of these eyewitnesses?
Yes. Yes, Mr. Chairman, it's possible.
Can that be made available by close of day tomorrow?
It's possible.
Now, you have told this commission that you have counted as many as 15 evidence of gunshot. Am I right?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
But then what you haven't been able to tell the commission is who shot these. Am I right?
Well, from the evidence I gave, I said eyewitnesses said these masked men in the khaki and the black tops were the people when they were apparently retreating after failing to enter my house, shot from the left end of my gate, that is facing my gate, towards my gate and into the structures that I have mentioned.
Mr. Delali,
Yes, Chairman.
if I tell you that the commission has been given evidence to the effect that there were some shootings from your house, you can neither confirm nor deny. Am I right?
Dr. Ayani, if you need to consult the client, can you kindly ask permission?
I will not be able to confirm because I was not there. But in kindly asking the commission to put certain things on record, I did mention, so far as my house in which I live, my children live, and workers live, I have no evidence of firearms in my house. In any case, the height of the walls in my house would have made it fruitless for anybody shooting from that house unless the person wants to shoot in the sky. It would have been purposeless. So from a probability of 10, I would want to say 9 over 10. It is impossible for anybody to shoot from that house. And I have no evidence that there is any firearms. And I do not see any evidence of any damage to my wall or the gate.
Very well.
Please, may I also add? I did also hear this. So I asked my family members, workers in the house, and everybody was laughing at me. Nobody from those who were in the house, though I was not there, from what they told me, there was no gunshot from the house, according to them.
Very well. But let me stay with you. What you have described to the commission pertains to when you were in the house, before you left the house, and when you came back to the house. Am I right?
Oh yes, I left my house barely an hour and a half maximum. I left before 7. By about 8:25, I was already very close to the house. By then, the incident had happened. So it's not as if I have left for a very, very long time. And as I said, in between, my son was communicating. This is quite an educated man in his early 30s. So a son reporting to a father should be accurate.
Now, you have told the commission what you have heard. Have you also heard that there were a number of people in your house?
Yes, there were a few people in my house, but the majority of the people were in front of the house. As I said, you see, if you are in my house, by virtue of the height of the wall, you can't see. If people, journalists, for example, are covering events, why would they be in my house? If observers were waiting for tags, why would they be in my house? In any case, I was told they were going to give them the distance. And of course, other people. So there were very few people. Most of them were my relatives. A few were the constituency executives and some branch executives. But the majority of the people, from what I even came to see, were actually outside. In fact, when I was even entering my house, it was when I was entering that a lot of people actually followed me to the house. So the majority of the people present around the premises were rather outside rather than inside. And I want to think so if you want me to add, because probably as at the time most of them came, I wasn't in.
So then you agree with me that these people who came when you weren't in, if any of them, one, carried arms, you wouldn't know.
Oh, certainly I wouldn't know, Mr. Chairman.
If any of them discharged any ammunition, you wouldn't know. Am I right?
No, I wouldn't know. But from the evidence, I specifically asked of this shooting from my house. As I said, everybody laughed at me. Even if there was any shooting, certainly not from my house, but there is evidence that there was shooting in front of my gate. But certainly, I can, of course, the commission and the police can always find out. There is no evidence of shooting from inside my house, but there is abundant evidence of shooting in front of my house.
Very well. Have you also heard that on the day, 15 or people on motorbikes came to the vicinity near your house?
I have not heard that. But when I got to my house, I did not see one single motorbike, but I saw a lot of cars. To the extent that I could not even drive into my car, as I said in my earlier narration. I did not see one single motorbike in my house.
Now, these people that were arrested, where were they when they were arrested?
In front of my gate, I'm told. In front of my gate. This is my understanding.
Do you know every single one of them?
No. Some I know facially from NDC activities and so on, and gatherings. But I don't know every single one of them. Even in my own constituency, I don't know everybody.
Okay. So then you wouldn't be able to confirm or deny if I should tell you that some of these people that were arrested, in fact, most of them confirmed to the police that they had come from places outside your constituency.
I am aware. Even the chairman of my party is not from my constituency. In fact, this is a by-election the whole of NDC Ghana was interested in. So many people from, in fact, I am even aware, some people came from either Eastern region or so. And I've received calls from all over Ghana. So I will not be surprised at all. This election, was of interest to the whole of NDC Ghana. And in the case, as I pointed out, most of the national chairmen, and even the regional, most of the national executives, the regional executives who assisted in my campaign are not from my constituency. You know.
Very well. Mr. Delali.
Yes, Chairman.
I am referring here to ordinary citizens, not party executives. Now, would you also be surprised if I tell you that some of these men have also come from outside Accra? Would you?
This one I cannot be sure, but I am sure national executives, regional executives may know, because as a party, they solicited the assistance of NDC. If you want me to digress a bit, or to give more information, not digress. This is the way NDC looked at the by-elections. In 2016, we did not believe the results that we had as a party. In the 2012 elections, the parliamentary candidate lost by 1,691 votes. And the president won, the NDC president, that's President John Mahama, won with slightly over 500 votes.
I'll slow down.
In 2016, many things went wrong. And I, the parliamentary candidate then, lost with over 10,000 votes. And the president who won previously with over 500 votes lost over 8,000 votes. So this by-election was reviewed as to why the poor performance in 2016. Out of the findings, for instance, that we did not have polling agents in position as at 1 p.m. on December 7, 2016, NDC executives from national to region have taken it upon themselves to ensure that they did the right thing this time. And they were going to use all the human resources in NDC to ensure that the real potential of NDC was realized in Ayawaso West. So I want to put this on record. So we were not looking at the elections from the point of violence. We're looking at it from strategy to correct our 2016 weaknesses. So even I, as a parliamentary candidate, I was under the direct direction of national executives. So,
if you please, Mr. Chairman, I would want to consult with my client briefly.
I needed, from my failure in 2016, I needed NDC human resources from all over the country to come and assist me. But I want it on record that I did not bus any group of people to my house. I have a lot of friends as a practicing pharmacist since 1982 who came in either as supporters, spectators, friends, apart from those who actually had a specific role to play in the by-election.
So then, Mr. Brempong, will it be right to suggest to you that on the day you did not know all the people that came to your house and within its close perimeters? Is that okay?
Oh, certainly. I didn't know all of them.
And it will also be right to suggest to you that you wouldn't know where these people had come from. I mean, every single one of them.
Oh, certainly. I wouldn't know where every single NDC person comes from. I wouldn't know.
So that takes me back to my earlier question, that if I suggest to you that some of these people had come as far as from the north, you wouldn't know, would you?
No, I wouldn't know.
Now, you have just told the commission that because you did not believe the results of the 2016 results, you fell on the NDC, national NDC as a party to supply you with human resources. Am I right?
I think the idea quite concerns, but I don't think, with all respect, I don't think you put it right. That's also by this time. I said there were issues with our results in 2016. Their abysmal performance, which did not actually show the progressive performance of NDC in the constituency. So there was research, and we found out certain things. And this was actually known to my bosses from national and the region. So they actually assisted me, they guided me to ensure that, for instance, inability to ensure that polling agents were at post before 1 p.m. did not happen again in this by-election.
Mr. Delali,
Yes, Chairman.
did you or you did not, in the course of your account, mention the fact that you fell on national NDC for human resource?
Yeah. In a dyadic way, it was a two-way thing. As I said, I was the candidate, but because of the 2016 happenings in the constituency, the whole NDC and the national and region supervised the constituency. If you want me to explain, because after the abysmal performance, there were appearances before region, notes and memoranda were submitted, research was done. I'm sure you have heard about the Professor Kwasi Brempong report, for instance. So a lot of research was actually done on the abysmal performance in my constituency.
Now, these persons, into bracket, human resources, that were supplied by national NDC, did you have any specific purpose for them?
I think I mentioned that already. That the crowd I came to meet in front of my house, some of them were observers, and I even gave you the name of two colonels retired colonels, who previously, the previous night, came looking for their accreditation as observers. So among the people I came to meet, I certainly knew that some were observers, others were supporters, others were just onlookers, especially after the incident. When they said they were shooting in this area, in fact, most of the people who even came were people from around. You know, there are a lot of kiosks surrounding me, and I actually stay in a Bawalish, a traditional setup. So you agree with me, curiosity was aroused. And also, as I said, there were journalists who were actually waiting to see when I was going to vote so that they could grant me interviews. So everybody there had a purpose. Everybody, either an onlooker, a spectator, somebody who was curious, somebody who was waiting for accreditation, somebody who was an observer, and so on. I mean, I cannot enumerate all of this, but I think they were purposefully there in one way or the other related to the by-election.
Then you personally did not know the purpose for every single individual.
No, I wouldn't know. I certainly wouldn't know.
Would you know, for instance, if I suggest to you that some of these individuals, some of whom had come as far as from the north, were there to provide security? Would you know?
Not directly, because I also wanted to record that just before 7 when I was going out of my house, I went unaccompanied. I went out in my car alone because I did not see any need for any special security. I drove back to my house when my son called me alone. Because so far as I know, Ayawaso West, in which the University of Ghana resides, where I even worked for about 15 years, I thought it was one of the safest and the stereotype constituency for Ghana. So I drove out alone. So even if there are people with security background, I think their role was primarily not for security. Like the colonels who came, they were coming as observers.
Very well. Now, are you able to tell the commission what time it was when you returned home?
I think before 8:30, just around 8:25, 8:30. By then I was at the block factory. So I am sure by the time I had clearance and the briefing and all that, probably 8:45, I should be getting home and climbing up.
What time did voting begin in your constituency? So then it is right for me to suggest to you that by the time you got to your house, voting had been going on for 2 hours. Is that right?
Less than. Less than.
And yet you tell this commission that you had people in your house 2 hours into voting who were supposed to be observers. Am I right?
Yes, Chairman. And let me add, though hurriedly, Honorable Sam George will, if invited to this commission, will testify to that. That as at the time, there was this confusion at the violation police stations. He had observed about 17 observer tags for MPs who have not yet come. Out of 21, only 4 had theirs. But excuse me to say, that's off record, but it will be of interest to you.
Since you have mentioned Honorable Sam George, are you aware that Honorable Sam George, Honorable Neil Van der Poy, and the NDC Deputy Women Organizer came to your house that morning?
Yes.
Where were you?
I was out. I may explain that one to you. If
Very well.
I actually scheduled with some journalists to vote at 9. So it was my intention to actually get back home just before 9 so that I could go to Abuchiman to vote. I think it was when I was going around this is that they came.
Very well. So then you agree with me, won't you, that because you were not around, you wouldn't even know the convoy they brought?
I've spoken to them. I don't think they came with any convoy. I don't think they came with any convoy to my house. I have no evidence to that, and I've not been told.
So then, you wouldn't know if I suggest to you that they came in a convoy of 4 vehicles and about 15 motorbikes. You wouldn't know, would you?
To my house?
Yes.
I wouldn't know. But please, an important thing. When Honorable Van der Poel actually came, he, from what my son told me, he met in person. He entered the house alone. So I want you to have that on record. So even if he came with a convoy, not into my house.
So then what you are saying is these honorable members and the deputy women organizer who came to the area did not enter your house. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not suggesting that.
Very well.
Please note the deputy women organizer was actually my manager during my whole campaign. So she has access to my house in and out.
Okay. What about Honorable Sam George and Honorable Nilante Van der Poel? Did they enter your house?
I did not have any evidence of Honorable Sam George entering my house, but Honorable Nee Van der Poel did enter the house and asked of me for my son.
If I suggest to you that the confrontation that took place around your house was between the national security men and the motorbike riders, would you?
I wouldn't know. I wasn't given those details. The little detail I had about the start of the confrontation was what I told you about the gentleman from my house, Mr. Nat Tenge, who was driving out of the house, was stopped and his vehicle inspected. And according to him, the way the trains were going, he had to run away from the car.
Now, you've talked about some wounded men you visited at the hospital.
At the University Hospital?
The University Hospital, yes. Do you have any interaction with these men?
Certainly. Certainly. In fact, very brief and short interaction. Yes. In their state, apart from saying, oh, get well soon, we're here to assist you and all that, they were actually receiving medical attention.
So then, because the interaction was short, you wouldn't even know their names, would you?
Oh no, but no, I personally did not ask for their names. I was led by, as I said, a national executive, a national organizer.
And you wouldn't also know where in Ghana they had come from, would you?
No, I did not find that out. I did not find that out.
And you wouldn't also know the reason that brought them to the vicinity of your house, would you?
I thought I have given an indication as to what possibly could have brought most of those people to my place.
I am currently staying with the wounded men at the hospital.
I did not ask them specifically whether they were observers or they were just onlookers or they were just supporters or whatever. I did not specifically ask them.
So then, as you sit here, you do not even know what caused them the wounds, do you?
There is sufficient, though I did not see, I believe they were shot. From all the evidence that was available in front of my house, I believe 99% that they were shot.
But you did not have any interaction with the men. So what informed your belief?
Mr. Chairman, I think I have recounted events that happened in my absence. Evidence that I came to see, pool of blood. pool of blood. In fact, the videos are there. If you kindly give me your number, those that I have, I can forward to you. I am not aware, in any case as a pharmacist, that there could have been any type of harm that could have actually made people bleed so profusely. And also amidst the numerous firing that occurred in front of my gate, I think it is most probably that it was from animals.
Since you are talking probabilities here,
Sorry?
since you are talking probabilities,
Most probably, tilting more towards yes rather than out.
is it right for me to suggest to you
Yes.
that the same reasons you have to believe that these men were shot by the other elements can also suggest that they sustained the same wounds from men said to be firing from your house because you were not there?
Mr. Chairman, respectfully, I have given you how my house looks like in terms of fence walls, heights, and so on. That if I want to agree with you, the assumption that they shot from my house, they would have shot into the sky and not through the wall or through the gate. I have no evidence that anybody has shot through a wall that has gone through the wall to go and harm anybody in front or through the gate. I have no evidence at all. So I am giving you the benefit of the doubt. If shooting was possible, it would have been into the air and above this wall, which is clearly taller than any human being.
Now,
This is my thinking.
very well. You also spoke about finding blood on the ground. How
Pools
far?
of blood.
Pools of
Pools
blood.
of blood.
Very well. Pools of blood. How far is the scene of blood from your house?
There is, we have, we have walls, and just the street in between the walls on my side and the other houses. So you're talking about 10 meters and 12 meters maximum. It was on the street, really on the street. Probably if I send you the videos, it will be clearer. If you haven't seen actually the blood pools.
I will come to the video in a minute.
Okay, please.
Now, in the course of your testimony, you mentioned one nut. What is the full name?
Tegi.
Would you please spell that for the purposes of the record?
N-A, Nathaniel, I think that's what you know. Tengey, T-E-N-G-E-Y. T-E-N-G-E-Y.
And how is Mr. Nathaniel Tinke related to you?
He keeps my house. He's my housekeeper.
Mr. Nathaniel Tinke, as at the time of the incident, where was he?
He was in the house. He was in the house and just moving a car to a workshop. And he was stopped just as he negotiated to the left, after the gate and negotiated in front of the first house. He was stopped right there.
Can he be made available?
Sorry?
And Mr. Nathaniel
Oh, my
Tinke
God.
avail himself?
Please. On the request of the commission.
Very well. Do you have his number, Mr. Tinke?
Yes, I can find that for you after the...
Very well. Now, you spoke about videos. Are you talking about videos of the scene
Yes.
as the incidents were unfolding?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Have you got them in your custody?
I have a lot of them.
And
Lots of the videos from Joy FM, from City FM, from various media.
okay, so
I've got lots of them.
If I'm hearing you right, you're talking about videos circulating. Am I right?
Yes, and some specifically and directly said to me too.
Are you able to confirm who shot them?
I cannot confirm all of them as to who shot them, no.
But then you can confirm some of them?
Yes, I can confirm. Well, I may not know because some of them shown in various media, for example, the television. For example, Joy Television has shown some, GTV has shown some, City, and so on. So I want to think that it's their journalists who picked the information in the form of films. Yeah.
So then I ask you once again, you are referring to the general videos circulating and not specific personal videos. Am I right?
No, I did not take any videos. I don't have any personal videos.
And you don't have any video shot by anybody you know, apart from the media men?
No.
Very well. I'm done. Mr. Chairman, your witness.
Mr. Delali, how many polling stations are there in your constituency?
Sorry, Mr.
How
Chairman.
many polling stations do you have in your constituency?
137, but I heard there was a division of some, so 141, probably for the by-election.
On the day of the election, how many did you visit?
Oh, I might have visited at least about 8. That's those around American House, ANC Mall, about leading to Baulechi towards Ibasa before I started receiving calls from my son.
And of the 8 polling stations that you visited, can you tell me how many of your supporters were in these stations?
Please, Mr. Chair, supporters or agents?
I'm not talking about polling agents.
You're talking about supporters.
Okay, let's deal with polling agents. I assume you had polling agents in every...
Yes. In fact, I only
station.
saw my NDC polling agents.
Yes.
After that, it was pretty early in the morning, 7 something.
Yeah.
So in fact, most of the police stations were quite idle. It was very early. That's around 7:30. I only wanted to satisfy myself that my polling agents randomly were at post.
And you confirmed that your polling agents were in the stations you visited?
Yes, Chairman.
And were there any of the supporters in any of the 8 polling stations that you visited?
I didn't see any supporters that early morning.
Okay, now let's come to your to the polling station near your house. Can you give me an idea of the number of people you came to meet in front of your house?
I think the crowd was large. That's all I can say, because after the incident when I came, you would see, excuse me to say, even the way some people were dressed, you will see that they have just run from their houses to come and see what had happened. So it was quite a large crowd, mixed with the security, the police, and so on. So I cannot give a figure.
But you said that you had requested human resources from your executives to ensure that the polling went well on this occasion.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, Chairman.
And that was part of the reason why there were quite a number of your supporters at the polling station close to your house.
No, Mr. Chairman. Please, let's differentiate my house from the polling station. There are two different locations, though they are close.
I know.
Yes.
But I'm referring particularly to the polling station close to your house.
The polling station close to my house, I did not have the opportunity. In fact, because that's what I could always go. It was so close. It's a 3-minute walk. I drove out rather to places that were a driving distance away. But from American House area, ANC Mall area, those are the places I went to. So I don't have any evidence of any supporters at Bawaleshi JHS police stations. I have no evidence at all.
All right. How many of your supporters were at your house, in front of your house, when you arrived, you said around 8:30?
Yes, after 8:30. This is what I was saying, that you couldn't actually, it was difficult, it was mixed.
Give me an idea of the number of people that you met in front of your house.
Mr. Chairman, I may not be able to guesstimate this. Because as I said, from after the event, it attracted a lot of people. So it will be very difficult to actually say. In fact, it's the people who spread all the way under the trees. When you turn into my house, you have these neem trees all over to the road, where the police riot car had parked and so on. People were all under the trees over there. So you would see, it could be quite a large number, but I don't think most of them were coming to my house or were looking for me. There were more onlookers as at the time I got in there. People who were attracted to the happenings. So it was quite a number.
You can't give an estimate?
I'll be wrong. Because in the state in which I was, the shock in which I was, I would not want to give your commission wrong information.
Can I suggest that a number? Let me see what your reaction is.
Yes.
Did you say that there were about 1,000 people?
Oh no, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Did you say that
Probably.
there were about 500?
Mr. Commissioner, I think I have failed in this one. Perhaps, no, I wouldn't want to guess. Because it was a crowd. And in fact, the presence of the police even attracted me more than the security personnel with this much confusion in front of the house. Yes. So if you ask me about how many policemen were there, I could say probably there could be about 20 or thereabouts. That's what I can say. You know, they were in uniform, so it's very easy to say. But there was a large crowd. And as I said, I did believe the way some people were dressed before, under the trees and so on. These were people who were formally traveling to a place. I think this one might have been the whole township that might have been drawn to the side.
When you arrived, who did you speak to?
Actually, my nephew and a few of the executives, constituency executives, who happened to be around. They actually came to the car, and I asked what happened. They did not even talk. They only took me to show me. Look at the pool of blood. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah.
And at what stage did you speak to the police personnel who were there?
Oh, after I had climbed up to own up that I was the owner of the house and I was available for whoever wanted me. Then I descended and went into my office, which is the second building, upstairs. Then, in fact, by the time I was aware, they were actually in my office. So I'm sure they might have been observing and probably followed in. I remember 4 officers with some armed men. They came to the office.
Did you show them these bullet marks you referred to in your testimony?
No. I actually thought the police had a message for me. I thought they were looking for Delali Kwasi Brempong for a reason. So I actually was expecting them to charge me or to arrest me or to actually start their investigation. But I realized, though, it appears they were called in after the incident. So, in fact, I might say that I was quite even embarrassed the way I have reacted, because actually they actually came in to
interrupt. They took you and showed you pools of blood and bullet marks. So it was after that inspection that you met the police officers, right?
Yes, then I climbed up. I climbed up to the staircase where I could see people, so that people can also see me, because the crowd was so much that people might not even know that I was actually in. So I went up to own up that I was Delali Kwasi Brempong, owner of the house, and so on. And whoever wanted me, there I was. All this must be probably 2 minutes, because this is a short distance, 2-3 minutes. I was up already, owning up, that I was available.
And what conversation transpired between you and the police officers who you met?
They were calm. In fact, the police were very calm. In fact, the majority of them were amongst the crowd just near the gate. If I remember, 2 police ladies, women, were entered the house just at the gate in front of the stairs.
But you did not take these police officers and show them the pools of blood and bullet marks that had been shown to you earlier?
Mr. Chairman, the police were there before I arrived.
Yes, just answer my question.
Yes.
After you
No, I didn't show them.
You didn't show them.
I want to think they saw it even before I came.
Okay, so tell me exactly when you met the police, what conversation did you have with them?
That is what I said. That I owned up, I introduced myself to the police. Please give me a bit of time to explain this. When I saw the police, I felt myself I was safe. When I saw uniformed police, Ghanaian police, I felt safe. Yes. So I owned. I told them I was Delali Kwasi Brempong, the parliamentary candidate. So in turn, I expected them to tell me what had happened, or what the mission was, or whether they were looking for me. This was my reaction. Because they were there. In fact, their presence gave me some comfort and a bit of safety.
Earlier you said you were expecting them to charge you?
No, I asked what the mission was. I mean, I wanted to know from them what the mission was. You understand?
Yeah, what did they say?
Oh, no, they were calm. The police were entirely calm, and I felt embarrassed about myself. And they told me that they had actually come to maintain peace. And in my narration to you, Mr. Chairman, I also mentioned that before the 4 officers left, they left 9 armed police to guide the house. And they were there. till after 5.
Now, what stage did you then leave your house and then went to the hospital?
Oh, that was between 10:30 and 11. When
Sorry?
10:30, 11.
So when you came and you spoke to the police, what happened after that? What did you do after that?
No, they withdrew. The officers withdrew
Yeah.
and left 9 officers
Yeah.
to guard the house. So some were actually behind the gate, others were behind the first house, facing the main house.
Yeah, and what did you do then?
No, I was upstairs.
You were upstairs.
Yes, I was upstairs. I was upstairs. This was about 9 something getting to 10.
Yeah.
And then first we had the press conference around 9:20 when the chairman actually came in. So we had pulled out of the election. When chairman left, I was upstairs. So about 10:30, the national organizer, retired Captain Joshua Kamba, came, and then he led the delegation. In fact, I also was curious to see the victims. So I asked the police, and 3 of them actually sat in the car in which I sat, and they took me to Legon Hospital, following the organizer's car.
Okay, how many people were in your house when you came? Now, I'm not talking about outside your house. How many people were inside your house when you arrived around 8:30?
I probably 50, because see, by the time I opened, the small gate was open for me, and I climbed up. Some people came in, but those were very, very familiar faces, either relatives or friends or constituency executives. So those were very, very familiar faces.
And they were about 50.
Could be about 50, because there were chairs around this thing. It could be about 50, 40, 50.
And so after the press conference, it was then that you visited the hospital with 3 police officers.
Yes, Chairman.
Who were these 3 police officers? Do you have their names?
Yes, I think I had their name on a piece of paper in my office. I hope it's still there. When they were leaving, I asked them to give me their contacts and their names. But they were actually left by Chief Superintendent Kwasi Brempong. He actually left them in the house.
When you got to the hospital, did you see the people, how many people you said were injured?
7. Initially 7,
Yeah.
and 8 came later.
And so you saw 7 people
Yes.
at the hospital. And what injuries, if any, did you see?
Injuries.
Were they injured?
Oh, yes.
Can you, first of all, do you know the names of those 7 people?
No, but I think if chairman is interested, national organizer can actually give their names to you.
National organizer?
Yes, national organizer.
What about the police? Didn't the police obtain the names of those 7 people?
Oh no, the police, I think their function as at that point was essentially to ensure nobody attacked us or something. I don't think they were the investigators for this. It was later, please can I continue? It was later that some officers came from Legon Hospital and brought a statement forth. So I want to think the investigation was different from those who were detailed to guard the house,
Okay.
and who also accompanied me to the hospital.
These 7 people, were they injured?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah. Can you describe the injuries that you saw?
If I remember very well, there were various injuries, but I saw one with a big bandage and plasters to the right part of the chest. I saw a bandage also on the arm of one person. I saw somebody whose foot had been traced, and actually with some pad under it. I think those are the ones that I vividly. There was also another one that was being given trip. Yes. I think I remember these 4 instances, but all of them had a form of injury before we got there. So I am sure, so far as the police machinery was concerned, they started gathering the information. That's in the.
You also stated that you spoke to eyewitnesses when you arrived. Who were they?
I was one. I said my nephew,
No.
and
Okay, apart from your nephew.
yes, I also spoke to
The
Mr.
eyewitnesses who you said gave you a narration of what had happened.
Yes,
Who were they? Do you have their names?
yes. Mr. Chairman, I mentioned the name of one Mr. Nathaniel taken from my house.
Yeah. Okay.
Secondly, I said when my nephew and some people noticed this and walked towards my car, and I asked what had happened. They showed me what was visible for me to see myself. Yes, and then what I went to the hospital to see, and also when we were leaving, the other 8 people who came to add to the 7. Those were the things that I saw.
So
Verified.
your nephew was one of the people who told you what had happened.
Yes.
Now, was he?
No, not told me. I asked what had happened.
Sorry?
Showed me more than told me. When they came to the car, which I just parked before the first house, and I said, what had happened? He said, come and see. This should be the pool of blood. Should be the bullets on the cars, should be the bullets on the container, should be the bullets on the trees, and then the final one on the pillar of the gate opposite mine. The 15 bullets.
What else did he tell you?
What is the
Apart from showing you the pool of blood as well as the bullet marks, what else did he have to tell you?
Oh, later on, in fact, I even spoke to my own son, who was in the house. He gave me a narration. He was in the bathroom when he started, and he told me what he had also observed, adding to what my nephew and the friends who showed me.
Can you just tell me what your nephew told you, first of all?
My nephew, as I said, I asked, he and the people who recognized my coming in, when I asked them what had happened, they just said, come and see. So there was, how do I say, there was something to see. Fresh blood sitting on the ground, bullets through cars, bullet marks on trees, bullet marks on container, bullet mark on a pillar of a descent. So there was nothing for them to say apart from showing me what evidence was on the ground.
They did not tell you anything about shooting that had occurred in the house?
No. Who rather told me? When I was upstairs, as I said, a lot of people came in and asked. In my narration, I said, first I spoke to my son. He was in the bathroom. According to me, when he hurriedly came out, he told me what he had seen and what he had heard. But it was upstairs when a lot of people started coming in that the whole thing was described to me, which I had already respectfully given to your commission, that some people dressed in khaki and black actually approached the house and what unfolded, that they tried to enter the house, but they were resisted by the people who were in front of the gate. As they were leaving, that is towards the left side of the gate, towards the school, then the people who were around started hooting at them. And they in turn turned to fire at them. This is the short narration I've had about the real happenings.
The police fired at whom?
Sorry?
You said that your son told you that the police fired at...
The police.
They fired at whom?
No, not the police.
Who?
The men who were in the brown trousers,
Yes.
and the black tops. Not the police.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
No. Not the police.
Yeah, they fired at whom? In what direction did they fire? What did your son say?
Fired into the people.
Into the people.
Oh, yes. In fact, Mr. Chairman, this is a bit difficult for me. But for the stray bullets that hit objects, I think from what I have seen and from what I can extrapolate, there have been immense. But for the 15 verifiable bullet marks that the police can even follow me from here if you discharge me to come and see, there have been immense.
You are saying that your son told you that these national security operatives, they were actually national security operatives. You are saying they fired into the people.
Yes, from the left of the gate towards, across my gate, towards the violation town, that's to the right. Yes. I even asked him how many shots could he hear. He told me he heard at least over 20 shots.
And he told you that these 20 shots were fired at the people.
He heard, his room is actually to the left of the gate. So he heard, according to him, from the bathroom in his room, you could hear from the left side that I was telling you, which was close to this thing, towards the front of this thing. And Mr. Chairman, if you actually get to the front of my house now, you will really see the direction of the bullets because, see, like I'm facing you, that's the front of my gate. All the trees that were affected and all the structures, you will see that it was the front part of them. So definitely whatever had caused those marks were from the left to the right. It's so clear. Directionally, it's verifiable. So I asked him, how many bullets did you hear fired? How many gunshots? He said he had over 20. As at the time he came, he said the people were actually entering the police station from the left side of the house.
Since this incident, have you spoken to Mr. Honorable Sam George?
No. But interestingly,
You haven't spoken to him?
No, I haven't spoken to him, apart from saying hi, because when I was driving in on that day, he was hurriedly walking past my house. And in fact, that was a bit curious because I know him well, but he was walking very hurriedly away. So I just said hi.
You didn't have any discussion with him at that time, and since then you've never...
No. In fact, the mood and the way he was walking, I sensed something had happened. I sensed something had happened. And I didn't think, I didn't engage him. I didn't call him from the back to come.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brempong. Yeah, thank you very much for your testimony. As you spoke, I tried to imagine what had happened. You said you spoke to your son, you spoke to your nephew, and they said they heard gunshots. Your son was in the bathroom, and so he hurriedly left to go and see what was happening. Where was your nephew?
My nephew, when I came in, I said I parked at a distance because there were many cars. He and some other people who knew my car noticed my car, so they actually came to the car.
No, I'm talking of when the firing was going on. Where was your nephew?
Please, I wouldn't know. Madam Commissioner, I wouldn't know.
Okay, because...
But my son definitely was in the house.
But he heard the gun reports.
Yeah, according to him, the gunshots actually came in two lots. There was a few shots first. So he hurriedly got out of the building, and whilst at the gate, heard at least another over 20 other shots. By the time he could actually open the gate to see, he could see the people in the brown dress and the black display retreating from the left side of the gate towards the campus.
So he was not an eyewitness to the shooting?
I think he heard more than saw.
So he heard?
Yes.
So he wouldn't know who was doing the firing?
No, I don't think.
So if somebody said there were people on the side of your house, and they were not inside the house, obviously, firing at people coming towards the house, he wouldn't be able to tell who was doing the firing?
No.
How many people were you informed had sustained injuries?
That's
or sustained wounds? Wounds is better.
Actually, that one I found out at the hospital. 7 people were in hospital first, and 8 others were brought from the police station. So in all, 15. 15. I saw 15.
Okay.
Later on, went to see one at 37 also. So in all, I saw 16 wounded people.
So the 8 who were brought from the police station, were they the ones who had been arrested?
Yes, Madam Commissioner.
Well, there seems to be some discrepancy. Some say 9 were arrested. Some say the station diary says 7 were brought, and now you are saying 8. So how many were arrested? Nobody seems to know.
No, please, I was there before the arrest. But what I saw was their presence at the hospital. Yes, but I saw it being led by this Ritual Kwasi.
And the kind of injuries they had told you they came from your house?
That's what I wouldn't know, because behind the head of one of them, the way he was bleeding profusely, Madam Commissioner, it was a symptom.
If somebody told you that he couldn't have been bleeding much because he may have disturbed an old wound or a wound, would you believe that?
That much bleeding, all behind the distance. How do you disturb a wound? There must be an infliction on the body to cut blood vessels for bleeding. So, Madam Commissioner, it was a simple wound.
If somebody told you he saw a wound, but it was incapable of giving that much blood that would stain a singlet, and that the person may have used the singlet to wipe his head, what would be your reaction?
Madam Commissioner, what I saw, even in front of my house, pools of blood, not only at one place. And in fact,
No, I'm asking about the person you said was bleeding, because we have no evidence that the pools belong to him.
yes, okay.
So,
No. These were real deep cuts at the back of his head.
So if somebody told you he looked at the cut and it wasn't serious, it didn't even require going to hospital. I wasn't there. I'm only asking you what I heard.
Madam Commissioner, what I saw in Legon Hospital, the injury, especially to the back of the head of one of them, I couldn't explain. I don't know whether they were about to slaughter the person or not. I couldn't explain. The back of the... It was a scene to behold. If you excuse me, I would just want to leave it at that. It was so emotional to me.
And the 7 injured persons who were in the hospital, who took them there?
I heard the police. I heard it was the police who sent them there. But I did not verify that.
Now, some of the people, obviously some of the 8 that you met, had been sent to the police station, had been interviewed there, and they said, some said they had gone there to protect the ballot, and some said they had gone there to send food to the polling agents. Did you arrange for anybody to protect the ballot?
Madam Commissioner, I don't understand that expression. To protect the ballot, I don't understand the expression. But I knew they were supposed to be observers on behalf of the party. Apart from the 2 polling agents, we were supposed to send two observers who could also act as to relieve somebody if a polling agent had to go somewhere. But to protect the ballot, respectfully, I don't understand that expression.
You had asked the party to provide you with human resource for the day. Would you know if anybody arranged for somebody to protect the ballot?
Please, not to my knowledge, Commissioner.
So if the person told the policeman who was interviewing him that he had gone there to protect the ballot, he would be lying?
Please, Commissioner, this one I think it's above me. Because in the first place, I don't even understand the term to protect the ballot.
Me neither, but that's what we heard in evidence.
Yes, but the Commissioner, in fact, I don't understand the expression. I don't, because I think
he had gone there to perform security duties, to protect the ballot.
Madam Commissioner, respectfully, I still don't understand the expression and the function.
So you wouldn't know if anybody made some such arrangement using an expression you don't understand?
No, please.
That is all I need to know. Now you said you have a garage.
Yes.
Where sometimes goods are stored. Specifically, you said
caustic soda.
Caustic soda. And did anybody move goods in and out of that garage a few days prior to the election or the day before the election or whatever to arouse suspicion that something untoward was happening?
Please, there is a big vehicle that actually conveys the caustic soda to the garage as a when it is needed to be used. We have these big containers in which they are blended.
Do you make soap?
No, not soap. Actually, they make the solutions for industries, caustic soda solution for various industries. So they are actually big
Your
containers.
son owns a business that makes caustic soda solution for
yes.
industry.
Yes, please.
And you store the caustic soda in that garage.
Yes, actually, as and when, he brings it in large quantities, but as and when he needs some to blend, when the car brings it, they offload it in the garage. They use it. But actually, he actually stores them in customs bonded warehouses.
I'm asking because I'm wondering what gave people the impression something untoward was happening, and so they alerted the national security.
Madam Commissioner, there is no relationship at all between what we routinely do in that house and the by-election. And I suggest, if you permit me, that this was an afterthought by somebody to justify what the violence, the inexplicable violence that happened.
Nobody has spoken about what you saw there. It was from your evidence that I'm trying to surmise that somebody may have seen a vehicle delivering stuff that looked suspicious and may have alerted the security.
But the Commissioner, interestingly, the garage is the very first structure you will see on the left when you're entering the house. So nobody will put in arms there. In fact, I'm not a security expert, but nobody will put arms in that old garage over there. Nobody.
Maybe you don't know too much about arms.
Perhaps, but the Commissioner.
Were you offered police protection before election day? After you filed and were accepted as a candidate, and before election day, were you offered any police protection?
No, Madam Commissioner, no.
Okay. Now these people who brown and black dress people, who were they?
Their real identity I may not know, but I want to think they were the observers, those people who were actually gathering, either waiting for one function or the other when I was not here. I said they were journalists, I said they were observers, I said they were supporters. At least these three classes of people I am aware of. But you see, the real incident, I wasn't there, so I couldn't have said exactly. But what the narration given was that after the people failed to enter because they had locked the gates, when they were going, then the people in front of the gates started hooting at them. This is what I was told.
So the firing did not start till after they had been unable
to enter
the gate, and then out of annoyance they just fired.
I don't know whether annoyance or embarrassment when they started hooting at them, because they were actually going back to the field from the left side towards to the field where the police station was before because
so the people who were wounded, were they among those who were standing and hooting?
I want to believe so.
Do you know that for a fact?
I do know for a fact.
So where were they when?
In front of, Madam, as I said, some people fell when they were shot, and there were pools of blood.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm trying to imagine the scene. We will go there, but I'm trying to imagine the scene. So the crowd is gathered here, hooting at people who are moving this way.
That's correct.
And so they turn and start firing.
Yes. Because if you see the bullets marks in the trees, it's coming from this direction.
Okay. The direction of the house.
No. The direction from left in front of the house. Please.
We will go and see it.
Yes, please.
But I'm just trying to understand that where were these people for them to have sustained these injuries?
In front of the house. Please, if you go and see the bullets, I want to think that most of the people were firing probably may not be very good marksmen, because they hit 15 of the bullets actually hit trees, containers, and cars.
They could also be irresponsible shooters who were just firing because they were annoyed and not aiming at any human being in particular. But that's beside the point. I'm just trying to understand, where were these people who were wounded? You said, looking at their wounds, they were definitely gunshot wounds. And that's why I'm trying to understand, where were they standing when the shooting was going on, and for them to have sustained those?
In front of the house, you know, there is this street between the two walls, my wall and the other wall. So it's like a street. When the people tried to force into the house from the gate, and they acted as what? Barriers. They couldn't go through them. Then they continued to the left side this way. And when they started, according to the story I have heard, the story I've been told, when they were about, say, 30 meters away, and they started hooting at them, then they started shooting into the people. That was the narration.
So the people who were wounded were among the people who were
In front.
hooting, or who were somewhere else?
No, please, they were among the people in front of the people.
I'm trying to imagine it.
Yes,
Yeah.
please, let's assume your table is my wall.
Mm.
There is another wall here.
Okay.
Yes, so in between, and this is my gate, the middle of the table here. So the people were all on the street here. Yes, then the brown trouser, black shaded guys came from that side, did whatever they could, tried to enter the gate from here. They were resisted, so they were withdrawing this way. And then, as if these people thought probably they might have overcome them or prevented them, so they started hooting at them. Then they started shooting from this direction, this way. And then the trees that took the first 8 bullets are here. The container is also on the right here. Then the 4 cars are where we have the curtain. So you will see this is the street, and the cars are parked here. You have the trees, you have the pillar, and then you have the container.
I believe when we move to the locus, we will get a better understanding of what happened, because people who are shooting in the direction you are talking about won't be going in a certain direction. So I'm a little confused.
So they tend, I'm assuming, if it's the same people who passed in front of the gate and went left, and the bullets are coming from that side, then they tend to shoot onto the street here where people were.
You see, there's testimony that some shooting came from your side of things, the road, or your side of things, from some people. That's why I want you to explain properly, where were these people standing and watching, and if somebody turned and fired at them, would the people you found in hospital be in the various states in which they are? It's difficult for me to imagine, but I'll let it pass.
Okay.
When we go to the scene, you'll be there.
Most
so
grateful.
you'll be able to explain what happened.
Madam Commissioner, most grateful.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioner.
Are you tired?
Oh, not at all.
Madam, I'm trying to picture the graphical scene you're describing, but I think it would be better if we saw it, and then we'll be able to have a better idea of what happened. So I just try to clarify a few points. When Chief Sublieutenant Kwasi Brempong came to the house, he was with some other officers. About how many?
There were a lot, but about 7 climbed up.
Came to the house?
Yes.
Inside. The rest were outside? Or they were all inside the house?
Please, let me take it again. First, they were outside. When I entered, and after my introduction of myself at the staircase and got down, When I went up, 7 of them followed, led by Chief Superintendent Kwasi Brempong.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And
They followed me. Yes.
And they said, calm down. And after you calm down, what happened? Was there some short discussion before they agreed to leave some people behind us?
Yes. During our discussion, I realized that they were actually called in after the incident. So I actually felt ashamed by saying that, oh, here am I, arrest me if I've committed any crime. No, that was not why they were there. They were actually there to actually stabilize the situation, so to speak.
They're not part of your other friends, the black
No. These are properly dressed officers,
okay.
Distinguished.
So they left you some protection until what time?
About 5:30
Okay.
in the evening after voting was over.
Okay. And after he left, you went to the hospital to visit the people.
Yes.
Your first point was to the Legon Hospital.
Yes, Commissioner.
And I wanted to get a picture, but I think there are 2 groups of people at the hospital. The first group was the group that you visited.
Yes, Commissioner.
And some money was left for their upkeep.
Yes, Commissioner.
And that group was about
7.
7. So when you finished and you were coming, then you saw this second group that was being brought by Mr. Adeshi.
Yes,
and
Commissioner.
they were about 8. So about 15 in all.
Yes, Commissioner.
But the group that you saw, they looked more injured or in much worse condition than those that were being brought by Mr. Adeshi.
So apart from the first group, the first 7 looked much more injured, except one of them who was bleeding profusely from the back of the head.
The first group?
No, the second.
The second group?
The second.
Okay, they were in better shape.
Yes.
But the one that was bleeding from the back of the...
Yes.
Oh, okay. But the 2 groups, the 15, do you know any of them? And have you found out, maybe somebody has given you some names?
No, this is what I said. Definitely the national organizer would have the names. Because you see, he actually was leading the team.
Okay.
Oh, okay. With the police, so I couldn't have.
Okay. Now, we'll go and see the scene. I was going to ask questions about the bullet marks and things like that, but I think it's better if you see it.
Yes, Commissioner.
The crime scene people are here, they will arrange with you. They've seen your lawyer, they will arrange and then they will come and visit. But were there any injuries to members of your family in the house, apart from your son? Was there any injury to
No injury at all. No occurrence, no actual violence in my house. It was in front of the house.
Because the gates were closed, none of the bullets actually entered the house.
As I said, the wall was tall.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, no, the wall is tall.
Yes. Okay. So you are confirmed that the people were firing at people, not in the air. That's what you were told.
Commissioner, I think we need your expert eyes, especially from the direction of the bullets and the 15 marks.
See, okay. But at least your son must have heard more than, about 20 shots. He heard about 20 shots. Have you spoken to any other person in the house who also heard some shots?
Not from the house, but from other onlookers. Some people said they had 60, some said 30.
Okay.
But I have evidence. I've been shown evidence of at least 15 shots.
The saloon where you said there were 1 or 2 marks, that saloon.
The container.
The kiosk.
It's a container, actually.
It's a container.
Yes.
So it's not a saloon.
No, it's not a saloon.
Oh, okay.
The saloon is to the...
Was anybody hurt there at the time of the incident? Those who own the container? Or it's owned by your
no. I asked the woman sitting right in front of it had gone to vote.
Okay.
Yes, but there was a teller and then the saloon that you're talking about, they were present.
And then the house opposite yours, where you say you've seen two.
One bullet on the pillar of their gate.
But nobody was injured in that house.
No, Commissioner.
Have you spoken where in there?
The owner, Mr. Daniel, actually also gave me a thorough account of most of the narrations that
Mr. Daniel.
I only know him as Mr. Daniel.
But
he has a workshop opposite my gate.
What sort of workshop?
I think to these security wires which they put on the fence wall.
Okay. And then the pools of blood, was it one pool you saw at one place or different places?
No, different places. Different places.
But at this moment, what has happened to?
Sorry?
What has happened to the blood?
Oh, most of them have dried up.
Yeah,
Initially, they were barricaded so that people did not walk through them.
Yes.
But I think over 2 weeks now.
At least you cover them so that they wouldn't be disturbed.
Yes, and I think 2 of the spots was very close to the woman who sells in the corner there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure even they might have poured sand or something just to make it more pleasant for them.
Okay, when we come, we'll see exactly what you are describing, and then we'll have a better picture. Thank you.
As Commissioner.
Before you go, I have 1 or 2 more questions. There has been, I'm sure you are aware, a lot of discussion about political vigilantes or militias owned by the 2 dominant political parties, the NPP and NDC. We've heard these discussions.
Please help it louder, please.
Said, have you heard all the discussions about political vigilantes or militias? Some people prefer to call them political militias, owned and funded by the 2 major political parties, the NPP and NDC. You've heard the discussion.
Yes, I've heard some discussions.
Are you aware that these 2 parties own political militias?
Chairman, I don't have the details, but I have heard some of the discussions. I don't have the details, but I have heard some of the discussions.
I'm asking you whether you know as a fact that the NDC and NPP have political militias or political vigilantes.
Yes, I have heard. For that of NDC, I have not directly related to them, nor benefited directly in any way, so I cannot confirm that one.
But you know they exist.
I have heard that, is it how they call them? Is it Hawks? Some name I have heard.
You heard?
You know, these things are actually at a certain level. I am just a mere parliamentary candidate at the constituency level. So I have heard, but I don't have details.
It's at a higher level.
Yes. Because I am told, for example, the people who were alleged to have come to cause the atrocities in front of my house, the officers, I have been hearing names like national, how do you call it? National security, and all kinds of big names. So I want to think this is at very high institutional levels. You know, I'm just a mere parliamentary candidate for Ayawaso Violence, so I may not know the details. Sorry.
All right. Since you
Please.
are not confident about the existence or the ownership of the political militias, particularly those allegedly owned or funded by your party, the NDC.
Mr. Chairman, my tiny view from what I've heard, I don't believe these groups are actually owned by the party. So I believe these are how do the Italians call them? Mafians, some political mafians, who actually encourage people, I use hooliganism, this is hoodlumism, is that it? To cause confusion. And if it is really true, I want to appeal to your commission that the police and the military in this country have to sit down, or we are all finished. From the little I saw in front of my house, if these mafians actually have these men under them, and this is the kind of thing they want to do in politics in Ghana, we finished. The police and the military in this country must sit down.
What should the political leadership of your party do to avert the sort of situation you are describing?
I think I will consult my bosses. Yes, I will give an idea. I don't believe these people are owned by the parties. They are owned by mafias, kingpins.
Within the parties.
Within the parties.
And the mafias or kingpins within your party, you know them?
This is why I say, Mr. Chairman, if you permit me, I could actually work on this, research on this. I have heard the names, but I don't believe NDC as a party or NPP as a party would want to encourage this kind of things. But I am sure there are some notorious mafias, wicked mafias within them that are making use of these people to cause political confusion. And my humble plea before you, Chairman, is that the police and the military in this country must sit up and do their work.
You have no idea or opinion as to what the political leadership of your party must do to stop the illegal activities?
Okay. Mr. Chair, I would ask permission to probably speak to my national chairman to actually be well informed about this matter.
Okay, I wouldn't bother you anymore with that. All right. I think that will be all for today. We'll let you know when we'll be coming to the site. We want you to be present. And there'll be other people so that you can explain, whether you can clarify some of the evidence that you have given before us. Okay?
Most grateful, Chairman. But one appeal for the marks. You recall I used the expression wounds on the trees because they can regenerate. So the earlier the experts come to see, because as
some of the experts, some of them are around. So I think your council has seen them, and they'll be going right away to take the necessary pictures and so on. But in addition to that, it might be necessary for us to visit the location, and that during that period also, we would like you to be present to clarify some of your testimony.
Most grateful, Chairman.
Thank you.
Chairman.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are we to await your ruling on our request to recall witnesses?
To call witnesses.
To recall witnesses.
To recall witnesses. Which
No, Mr. Chairman, I'm talking about witnesses of the commission who might have given evidence, that touch and concerns the specific evidence that he has given today.
And you are basing this application on which provision?
Specifically, Article 282 Clause 2 of the Constitution, as well as... My Lord, that basically, sorry, Mr. Chairman, that basically establishes the right to counsel. And pursuant to that, the constitutive instrument in Rule 12, Sub-Rule 2C, provides the basis to cross-examine witnesses of the Commission on evidence that has been given before the Commission.
There's no 2C, there's no 12
Can you... Mr. Chairman, I probably...
Can you read the specific provision you are relying on?
It's Sub-Rule 2, actually. And it says, and I read, a lawyer or an expert witness appearing for a person whose conduct is the subject of the inquiry, and any other lawyer appearing before the Commission may cross-examine a witness after the cross-examination of the witness by the lawyer for the Commission having regard to Article 282 of the Constitution.
Yes.
And it is based upon this that we are saying that we want to exercise a right to recall some of the Commission's witnesses who have given evidence before the Commission that touches and concerns the evidence of Mr. Brempong Delali this morning.
But this provision doesn't talk about recalling witnesses.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, but if you have a right to cross-examine, you have the right to cross-examine a witness who has already given evidence before the Commission.
You are adding words to the provision which do not exist. First of all, is your client the person whose conduct is the subject of this inquiry?
That is why he testified.
Now, are you saying that your client is a person whose conduct is the subject of this Commission's inquiry?
Mr. Chairman, there are two types of witnesses. There is the witness whose conduct is directly the subject matter of the inquiry. And then there are witnesses who did not conduct themselves in a manner that gave rise to the inquiry, but who were either eyewitnesses or material witnesses that the Commission has called.
Let's confine the discussion to the precise words of the provision.
That is so, Mr. Chairman.
It says, a lawyer or an expert witness appearing for a person whose conduct is the subject of the inquiry. And I'm asking you, is your client a person whose conduct is the subject of this Commission's inquiry?
Not directly, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
But, Mr. Chairman, if I may refer you to Article 282 of the Constitution. And it says, in material terms, any person whose conduct is the subject of the inquiry by a commission of inquiry, or who may in any way be implicated or concerned in the matter under inquiry. So, in this case, he is concerned in the matter under inquiry. And because the Constitution is superior to the constitutional instrument, we rely on the constitutional provision to exercise the right to recall certain witnesses who gave evidence before your commission that impacts upon or concerns the evidence of Mr. Delali this morning, Mr. Brempong, sorry.
You see,
Mr. Chairman, if I may elaborate, for instance...
You are referring to recall of witnesses.
That is so.
Who have already testified.
That is so, Mr. Chairman.
We don't see anything in this provision which talks about recalling of witnesses.
Yes, inherent in the right to cross-examine is the right to recall the witness so you are able to cross-examine the witness. The reason is that my client was not here at the time that that evidence was given. So the cross-examination should have been instantaneous. If he were here, he could have applied for and been given the opportunity to cross-examine. But he was not here. And I think that inherent in his right to counsel and then his right to a fair hearing before this commission is the right to cross-examine persons whose evidence in some way or the other touch upon what he has said today. For instance, Mr. Chairman, there is the evidence that I think in your line of cross-examination and that of Madam Commissioner Henrietta Mensah-Bonsu, the evidence of shooting that took place or is alleged to have taken place from his house. And that was given by witnesses who preceded him before this commission. It will be only fair for him to be given the opportunity through his counsel to cross-examine those witnesses. That is the point that I'm trying to drive across to the commission humbly.
As I indicated earlier, we would reserve our decision and communicate it to you at a later date.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'm most grateful, and thank you for the opportunity this morning.
Okay. You're free to leave now.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the commission's sitting for today. Primarily because of the state of the nation's address tomorrow and the commitment of some people